Yeah, so I think so this book came out in 2019, and I I am aware, I did most of the research in 2010 to 2012. So it was quite a while ago now. And I am very aware that I wrote the book in a period before Narendra Modi came to power, in a time where that sort of thing still seemed a little bit, it seemed very unlikely in 2011, 2012, right? And it was also at a very different kind of political place in terms of, I don't know, the kind of political scene in the UK where I was writing the work, outside of being in India. I did my PhD in the UK, and it was the time of the kind of like student movement against university tuition fees coming into effect. It was the time of the Occupy movement, a very different sort of political circumstance that then was even, 5, 6 years later when the book came out in 2019, right? When we have Modi and we had Trump and we had all of this kind of very different sort of politics. So I finished the book, and maybe I still kind of sort of abide by this. And a lot of comrades in India didn't like the fact necessarily that I said that Bhagat Singh is more powerful in Lahore precisely because he is more repressed there, right? He hasn't been smoothed out in this iconic way that he had in India, where people like Narendra Modi are going to his samadhi in Husainawala in Punjab to pay tributes on his death anniversary, right? Where there isn't this kind of consensus that has been built around Bhagat Singh as this national figure that is very difficult to disrupt sometimes, right? Not to say that it can't be disrupted, but it is. There is a kind of there's a difficulty to it. Whereas in Pakistan, it's more confrontational. I think the point about Bhagat Singh's potentiality for me is that it is a potentiality of confrontation. It's about a dispute. It's about inaugurating a political dispute. And the edges for doing so in Pakistan are very jagged, right? He is not part of a national narrative. 23rd of March, the death anniversary is on, uh, a national holiday in Pakistan, right? And there's a lot of kind of, contradictions that are made apparent through a figure like Bhagat Singh being celebrated in Pakistan. So, I'm a little kind of concerned about, the sort of the way that I've kind of, at least in the last few years, how Bhagat Singh has been the fate of Bhagat Singh in Modi's India, I guess. And this is something that I need to really reflect a little more on.
Yeah. And what are you working on now, and how are these concerns carrying out into your next projects?
Yeah, so I have a new book coming out in June, which is actually on Lahore, and is a very different sort of study on architecture in Lahore after independence, in focusing mainly on the 60s and 70s. But one of the kind of continuities is that I'm interested in how, again, the kind of organizing concept of my work is around how historicity and how people make sense of that relationship between past, present, and future. And with Bhagat Singh, I was able to do that, to say, how do people make sense of the relationship between history, anti-colonial histories, and the post-colonial present through a figure like Bhagat Singh. But with this architecture work, it's about how people make sense about the relationship between the past and about heritage architecture, um, and the present through buildings and the built environment, right? So
Yeah.
it is a little more engaged, less in the kind of the spectral than, in directly the material. But it's been also shaped by my interest in, archival research alongside ethnographic work. And I've learned a lot about the city, and also this kind of connections between Lahore and other urban environments in South Asia and internationally. So yeah, I mean, there's still kind of continuity in terms of themes, even if it's not as kind of politically, provocative, I guess, as the Bhagat Singh work maybe was or tried to be.